This week we are starting Unit 7, and the first chunk of lessons we're going to do are lessons 1, 2, and 3. So there are two major learning targets we're going to work towards. The learning targets are I can read and write expressions. Remember, expressions do not have an equal sign. And also I can evaluate and simplify expressions using order of operations. On my math slide for the week, I've linked a Quizlet with the Unit 7 vocabulary. It's really important that you study that vocabulary because it breaks down evaluate, simplify, order of operations, expressions, all that. But I'll also talk about it today through our lesson. So first is lesson 1. So this goes over just simple expressions. For example, I'll turn the light on, that might help. For example, 1/2 plus 2/3. There's one operation, it's an expression, there's no equal sign, okay? 24 divided by 3. 5, I'm reading them in the way that you would read them. 5 times the difference of 6 minus 2. Remember, based on our order of operations, parentheses must go first. So first you would do 6 minus 2, which is 4. Then you would multiply 5 times 4. So the way that you would simplify this expression is by solving each part in its correct order. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Then multiply it by 5. So this expression simplified is 20. It's kind of like solving it, but we don't say solve because there's no equal sign. This is 6 plus n. And here we have 12 minus the product of 10 times 4/10. So the basic order of operations, the thing that helps us understand it is this acronym here. PEMDAS, or PEMDAS, whatever you say. So it goes in order from first to last. So the first thing that you do, P stands for parentheses. E stands for exponents. We're not going to get too much into exponents, but exponents are like when you do 10 to the second power. That little 2 is an exponent. So first you would do parentheses, then exponents, then you multiply, then divide, followed by addition and subtraction. A way that you can remember this is with the saying, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. But this is the order. So if I was looking at this expression here, I would say, okay, there's no parentheses, okay? There's no exponents. There is multiplication. So I need to do the multiplication first, and then I would do the subtraction second, okay? So that's why it's 12 minus the product of 10 times 4/10. So here are some expressions and then how to write them in word form. It's important to be able to understand how to read them both ways and write them both ways. So that's why that's our first learning target. So for example, and there is a few ways to write each one. So another way to say 1/2 times P is the product of, or I'm sorry, not the product. Yeah, the product of 1/2 and P. Or you could say 1/2 of P, because we know that of means multiplication. Here we have 7 5/10 minus 2 25/100. A way that we could write this would be subtract 2 25/100 from 7 5/10. Here, why don't we look at, let's look at number 2. Number 2 would be the sum of, because sum is the answer when you add, the sum of B and 9, because we're doing B plus 9. For this one here, we have the same order of operations because we have multiplication and multiplication. So here we would multiply 3/4, 8, and 1/2. We're multiplying them all together. Looking down here, we're going to work the opposite way. So we're going to read these expressions in the word forms and then write them. So here it says, find the product means multiplication, of 12 and 1/10. Okay, 12 times 1/10. Subtract 2/3 from 3 and 1/2. So 3 and 1/2 is written first because the 2/3 is being taken away from it. Add 14 and t. Divide p by q. So p is our dividend. It's being divided by q. Don't freak out when you see the letters, because as we practiced last unit, the letters just are there for numbers that you don't know yet. So it doesn't mean anything other than it's in place of where you will put a letter eventually. Okay, so look at our second part here. Okay, now we're going to look at expressions with more than one operation. This is where our vocabulary, order of operations, or PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiply, divide, add, subtract, comes into order. Comes into work. So looking at this first one, we have 11 times 15 plus 3. According to our order of operations, we have to multiply 11 and 15 first, and then the product that we get, we add 3. So let's look down here and see if we can figure out which goes first. So I want you to try to answer before me. So we have 12 divided by the sum of 5 plus 2. What is done first? Think about PEMDAS. What gets completed first in this expression? Because of the parentheses, it is the addition that is done first. Because whatever is in the parentheses has to go first. Write the computation in words. It is 12 divided by the sum, or the answer, the sum of 5 and 2. Let's look at this one next. Consider the expression 12 divided by 5 plus 2. What operation is done first based on the order of operations? Division is done first. Write the computation in words. This is 12 divided by 5 plus 2. Or you could have also written the quotient of 12 and 5 plus 2, because quotient means the answer when you divide. All right, let's look. I think that's good. Let's look down here at our check for understanding. Why are these two expressions, 8 plus 7 times 4, and the sum of 8 plus 7 times 4, why are they different? And what are the two values that you get? Think about that. Why are these two different? They're different because according to our order of operations, in this expression, multiplication must be done first, and then addition would be done second. But here, our addition is inside of the parentheses, and anything in the parentheses has to be done first. Then we have multiplication. So that's why these two expressions, even though they have the same operations and the same digits, they result in a different answer. So that's lesson 1. Moving on to lesson 2, we're going to continue our work with the order of operations, but now we're going to talk about how to simplify expressions. So let's read this top blurb here. If an expression does not have a letter or variable, that means the same thing, does not have a letter or a variable, then you can simplify to find its value, or the value of the expression. Simplifying an expression is the same as solving an equation. For example, you can simplify 15 divided by 3 to get 5. We call it simplifying an expression because it does not have an equal sign, so we're not solving it. So, for example, if we had something like this, which had multiple operations, in order to simplify the expression, we have to follow PEMDAS. So first, we do parentheses. So step 1, perform the operations inside the parentheses. 5 plus 2 is 7. So I'm going to now rewrite with my answer in place of where that was. So it becomes 25 minus 7 times 3 because I did parentheses first. There's no exponents. Next, we need to multiply. So I'm going to multiply and then rewrite. So we have 25 minus, what is 7 times 3? 21. I've done my multiplication. There's no division. There's no addition. There is subtraction. So then my last operation would be 25 minus 21, which is 4. That is how you simplify an expression. And if you write it, if I wrote this underneath and I had them all lined up, it would kind of end up looking like a V, because we're starting with the full expression, then we're inserting an answer for each operation until we have it simplified down to an answer. All right, let's look down here and try some of these. Pause and see if you can do them before me. Let's do this one first. 5 plus 16 divided by 4. What's the first operation we do? Division. So it will become 5 plus, when you do 16 divided by 4, what do you get as an answer? 4. Then we finish with the only operation that's left. 5 plus 4 is 9. You see how it makes kind of a V like this? That is simplifying the expression. Let's do number 4 now. I want you to see if you can do this one on your own first, so pause the video and try it. 20 divided by 4 plus 3 times 3. Parentheses, exponent, multiply, divide, add, subtract. Okay. Looking here, what do we do first? First, we're going to multiply. So it becomes 20 divided by 4 plus, what is 3 times 3? 9. That's step 1. Now we're going to move on to step 2. We have to divide 20 divided by 4. We're going to rewrite this quotient. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And we're going to bring down what we haven't done yet. 5 plus 9. So then our answer is, or a simplification of this expression, 5 plus 9, 14. See how it made the V going down again? That is simplifying an expression. Do this one down here. So looking at number 10, which operation do we do first? What is step 1? Step 1 is the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite what I haven't done. 36 divided by, we have to find this product first. 3 times 2 is 6. We only have one operation left, so that's what we'll do. 36 divided by 6 is 6. That is our simplified expression. Let's do number 8. Number 8 says 3/10 plus 1/10 times 5 plus 2/10. We have a few of the same operation, but thinking about our order of operations, what has to be done first? You got it. We have to do 1/10 times 5 first. So I'm going to rewrite from left to right. I haven't done anything with the 3/10 yet. I'm going to insert the product that I get when I do 1/10 times 5. And then I'm going to bring down by adding 2/10. Okay? So 1/10 times 5, you're taking 1/10 of 5. So you can either shift your decimal, or you can do 5 times 1 like this. 1 times 5 is 5. You have to add in how many decimal places? 1. We get 5/10. All right. Now, what do we have to do next? Add. Because of the commutative property, it doesn't matter the order in which we add, we just have to add. So, for my brain, I know that adding 3 and 2 is 5, plus another 5, 5/10 plus 5/10, or 50 cents plus 50 cents, is $1. So that's how you would simplify this expression. Okay. I'm going to read you this blurb. Please listen. Parentheses group parts of an expression together and let you know which operations to do first. Parentheses look like this. Okay? Parentheses are first. Brackets, which are more squared off, so parentheses are curved, brackets are squared, and braces are the fancier looking ones, where it's kind of a mix of both. Those are braces, so parentheses, brackets, braces, those are types of grouping symbols that group things together, are also grouping symbols. These symbols are often used when an expression has grouping symbols inside other grouping symbols. So, as we get more advanced in our expression simplifying, you might see something like this, where we have 12 times the quotient of 48 divided by the product of, the sum of 4 plus 4. So what you do first is parentheses always. So first you would do 4 plus 4, which is 8. Second, you would do the other grouping symbol, which in this case is a bracket. So then you would do 48 divided by 8, and that would give you 6. And last, you would do multiplication. 12 times 6 is 72. So there is an example of multiple grouping situation. Let's practice one of those with number 13. I'm going to read it to you, and then I want you to think and try to solve it, and then unpause the video and see if you got it correct. So we have, for number 13, 8 divided by 4 divided by 2 divided by 1. Whoa, that is a lot going on. We can do it. Parentheses are always first. So I'm going to rewrite what I have here. Two divided by 1 is 2. Next, I'm going to do my next inside grouping symbol. So the next one that's inside would be the bracket, 4 divided by 2. So now I have 10 minus. What is 4 divided by 2? 2. Next, I'm going to do my other grouping symbol, the last one we have left. 10 minus, what is 8 divided by 2? 4, and last we will do 10 minus 4, which is 6. So what you do is you do the inside grouping symbol first and work your way out. Okay? That is lesson 2. The biggest takeaway from lesson 2 is just using your order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiply, divide, add, subtract, to simplify an expression or solve it. And finally, lesson 3 has us working with things that we've done before now, so expressions, and then something we used last unit, which were variables when we were solving for equations. A variable is just a number that you don't know yet, okay? We still use the order of operations, so let's read what we would have to do here. The expressions below contain letters or variables. A variable represents an unknown number. So we have 3 1/2 plus x, n divided by 1/100th, 5 times the difference of p minus 2, t minus 6, 4 plus the product of 10 times w. Okay, here is another new vocabulary word, which is on our Quizlet. So we learned how to simplify an expression. Now we're going to practice evaluating. To evaluate an expression, you substitute or put in a value for the letter that's there. So for example, it says evaluate 5 times the difference of p minus 12 for p equaling 10. So it's telling us that p equals 10. So in place of p, we're going to write 10. And then you simplify the expression. So if there's a letter, first you evaluate by placing the number in for the letter, and then you simplify like we did in the previous lesson. Let's try some together. Here we have m minus 4 7/10 for m equals 10. So it's telling us what m equals, so we're going to substitute 10 in for m. So it becomes 10 minus 4 7/10. Now that we've evaluated the expression, we're going to simplify it. We only have one operation, so we're doing 10 minus 4 7/10. You can set it up like this if that's more helpful for you. And our simplified expression is 5 3/10. Let's do one that has multiple orders of operation. Number 3. Try this one on your own, unpause to see if you, or play the video to see if you did it correctly. 5 plus n times 4 for n equals 3. So I'm going to substitute in 3 for n, so it becomes 5 plus 3 times 4. Now I'm going to apply my order of operations, or PEMDAS. There's no parentheses, there's no exponents. I do have multiplication, so I'm going to do that first. So it becomes 5 plus, what is 3 times 4? 12. We don't have division, we do have addition. 5 plus 12 equals 17. So our simplified expression, once we've evaluated it, is 17. Let's look at this in the context of a word problem. I'm just going to make sure that I'm on the right track for this lesson. All right. So these are some real-life situations, real-world expressions. Remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. We simplify or evaluate it. We don't say solve. So it says, 4 friends earned $24. I'm going to circle in the box. I'm going to keep the equation. 4 friends earned $24 by washing cars and $M by mowing lawns. They want to divide the total equally. Okay, let's see. They want to divide the total equally. So the 4 friends earned $24 total for washing cars and a certain amount of money that we don't know yet for mowing lawns. Write an expression for the amount each friend gets. Well, First, we would have to know how much they made in total. So first, we would find, okay, they made this much money washing cars, and we'll add it to this much money mowing lawns. Then we would take that whole sum of all the money they earned and divide it by the 4 friends. So that is our expression. If they made $50 mowing lawns, how much should each friend get? So now we are evaluating the expression by putting 50 in for M. So it would become 24 plus 50. That's the total amount of money they made, and then divide by 4. Solve that, and we're going to say how much money each friend got. So 24 plus 50 divided by 4. Pause the video and solve. Each friend gets $18.50. Let's do... Actually, we're going to stop right there. So, again, with expressions, first, you write the expression based on the information you're given. If they give you a variable, you just put it in as if it were a number. You just don't know it yet. And then in order to evaluate the expression, you insert the number they give you in place of the letter. Then you simplify by using your order of operations. So here we did parentheses first because parentheses always goes first. Then we divided.